Hey everyone, I wanted to go over my end of summer reading for 2025. These are my July and August reads. Here in this corner we have my July reads that I haven't unhauled, and then on the opposite corner, which you'll see in a second, we do have August reads. For the month of July, I read 6 books, and then August, I read 7. So let's go through them, and for the books that I no longer have a physical copy of, I will put a image on the screen so that you can see what it looks like. The first read of July is Small Town Swoon by Melanie Harlow. This is the 4th book in a 5-book series, and I really enjoyed this one. This is my favorite out of all 5. It follows Ari and Dashiell. I think the reason why I liked this book so much, even though I've enjoyed all of the books of this series, is because Dashiell and Ari's relationship has been alluded to in past books. So I think that by being familiar with the characters, I was really anticipating their story, and I did very much like this one. I did give it 5 stars. So that is a book that I definitely kept to possibly reread in the future. Now, the second book of July I read was Scorched by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I did give this one 4 stars. So I no longer have the physical copy. I actually just sold it the other night on Pango Books, but I did enjoy it. It was a second book as part of a duology, or rather they're more like standalone interconnected books. But I did, after reading the first one in the duology, I did feel like I needed to read the second one, and I did probably enjoy the first one a little bit more, but I still did like this one. Frigid and Scorched were my first Jennifer L. Armentrout books, and I did like them, so if you think that you might like something like this book, I'll put the synopsis on the screen as well. My third book for July was The Front Runner by Elsie Silver. This is the 3rd of 4 books in the Gold Rush Ranch series, and I did also sell this the other night with the Jennifer L. Armentrout duology. This series was a lot of fun. I really liked it. I liked the characters and all their stories. However, I didn't feel like I was gonna reread them, and I'm limited to 1 bookshelf, unlike a lot of other people, so I did have to be brutal and just decide to rehome it so I can make some room. But I did give it 4 stars, and I did really enjoy it, and I would recommend it to anyone that's curious about Elsie Silver. It's my first full series by her. I Kindle read when I still read ebooks, one of her other books, but I didn't retain a lot of the story, and that's kind of why I mostly gave up reading on a screen, just because I don't enjoy it very much. I'm curious about possibly picking up more Elsie Silver books in the future. So my 4th book for July is kind of a controversial one. It is Problematic Summer Romance by Allie Hazelwood. I think this might be my first Allie Hazelwood book that I've read, but I have listened to one of her previous books as an audiobook, and I normally don't listen to audiobooks in like a romance genre. I mostly do nonfiction because I struggle to sit down and read nonfiction, but I don't with fiction, so it's curious that I listened to an audiobook by her before. But regardless, this book has very mixed reviews. I feel like people either really enjoyed it or absolutely hated it. Me, I gave it 5 stars. I was gonna give it 4, but I did bump it up to 5. I really like the setting in this book. I really enjoyed the character, the female main character of Maya, and I didn't mind the male main character, who's Connor. I know a lot of people have said that they didn't like him. I will say the criticism of the age gap being brought up between the two characters a lot is valid. It is brought up pretty much anytime they discuss their relationship and their standing with one another. So I do understand that, but I was able to look past that and just enjoy the story for what it was. So I did give it 5 stars, and I am keeping it at least for now because I might revisit it. It's a really good summer read, so next summer or the summer after, if I feel like I need a pick-me-up, I might go back to this one. The 5th book of July was The Reunion by Kayla Olson. This was a cute read. I would say it leans more sweet rather than spicy, which I tend to go for more spicy books normally, but I did really like it for what it was. I thought the story concept was really interesting, and I did like the characters. I don't have it physically anymore. I did decide to part with this one. I did pick it up for relatively inexpensive at a secondhand bookstore that I take some of my books to sell on consignment. It was probably like $2 for me, but it was really cute, really sweet. I did give it 4 stars. There's another book by Kayla Olson, I think it's called The Lodge. I'll put it up on screen. That looked really interesting to me when I was browsing for new book ideas, but I don't know if I'll end up picking it up as it is more sweet than spicy. But if you like that kind of thing, I do recommend giving her a go because she's a good writer and I did enjoy the story. I just feel like it wasn't what I was wanting. Now, my 6th book of July is one that's really popular and getting really good feedback and reviews, which is Carly Fortune's One Golden Summer. Now, I didn't read any of her other books before buying this one and reading it. I was tempted after I started this one to pick up the first book. However, after seeing other people's reactions to the first book, I no longer am interested, but I did really like this one, and it's also just a really pretty cover too, where it has the inside. I don't know what this cover material is, but it's really pretty, has a sheen to it. I really like how it looks on my shelf, but I'm lucky that I did enjoy this one. The setting's gorgeous, the characters were, I think, really well written, and I enjoyed the story, and I originally wasn't going to read this till next year, but I'm glad that I picked it up as a bonus book, as I only planned on 3 books for every month this year. So I've been adding this month and in August, and for the rest of the year I have bonus reads. So this was one of my bonus reads, and I gave this one 4 stars, which I think it deserves more like a 4.5, but I normally don't like giving half or quarter stars as ratings. So for the sake of my rating system, it's a 4, but I think it's closer to a 5. It just wasn't quite a 5 for me. I can't really pinpoint exactly why, but I still loved this regardless, and it is staying on my bookshelf. Again, I only kept 3 of my books, my physical books, for my August reads. I did read 7 books again. The first was the 4th volume of a manga called Cutie and the Beast. I probably will not pronounce this correctly, but I'm gonna try. Yuhi Azumi is the author. I had been waiting for this volume 4 for a really long time. The author ran into some health issues, and so publication for the 4th volume, the final volume 2, had to be pushed. At the time of reading it, I was really excited because I'd been waiting a long time, but I also was very disconnected from the series because I hadn't read it in so long. I did really enjoy it, and I think it's a really cute manga if you want like a sweet, just uncomplicated kind of romance. There's a little bit of an age gap between the two characters, with the male love interest being a professional wrestler and the female main character being a high school student, but I'm not familiar with Japan's culture, so I don't know if that's like taboo at all. In the US, that would certainly be kind of weird for a high schooler to be dating somebody that's already a professional out in the world, but again, it wasn't that bad. It was a very sweet romance, very like innocent, so I didn't have a problem with it. If you like manga and you like manga romances, I think it's worth picking up. I did rate it as a 4-star, so I did enjoy it. I did sell it on Pango Books, just simply because I didn't feel like I needed to read it again, but I did enjoy it a lot. My second book of August had me finish B.K. Borison's Love Light Farm series with reading Business Casual. This was actually a book in the series that I was kind of hesitant about reading. I just wasn't really connecting with the storyline or the premise prior to actually sitting down and reading it. But I have to say it was probably my second favorite. Maybe it was my first favorite. I don't know. There's another one in the series. I believe it was the third one that I really liked. But I did really like Business Casual. I did decide to sell the series on Pango Books. I, again, just needed more shelf space at the time. Otherwise, I would have kept it. And I did give it 4 stars. I know a lot of people have said that they don't really like that series, but I really enjoyed it. I think my least favorite book was the second one, but I still really liked it. I just thought that the other 3 books in the series stood out more, with the third and the fourth books being my favorite. So I do recommend it if you're curious about B.K. Borison. It was my very first introduction to B.K. Borison's work, and I do have Good Spirits on pre-order by B.K. Borison. I hope to get to it this year, but it kind of comes out a little late in the year, so I might read that next year. And I'm hoping that because that's a single book, at least as far as I know, I'll be able to keep it on my shelf because it won't be taking up as much room as a series. Now, the first book that I can talk about that I still have a physical copy of is the 5th and final book of this Cherry Tree Harbor series by Melanie Harlow, and that's Slapshot Surprise. I would say that this is my second favorite of the series. I really did like the hockey premise. I enjoy watching hockey even though I'm not very knowledgeable about the sport, but it's definitely the one that I find the most interesting to watch as a spectator. So I really liked that, and I just liked the characters a lot. So I do really recommend this series. I am keeping it. I really love this series by Melanie Harlow. If her other series weren't so long, I would give them a go. But I just have so many series that I've committed to lately that I kind of just need to get through some stuff before I would even consider that. But highly, highly recommend. And I did give that 4 stars. My fourth book of August was Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. This is my third Tara DeWitt novel that I've read. I do have some more that I plan on getting, and as they release, because they're available for pre-order, and maybe asking for some, like adding them to my wish list for the holidays. This was not my favorite by Tara DeWitt, but I really did enjoy it. I really like her writing and the way she portrays her characters. I don't know, I just really enjoy her work, and this cover is very gorgeous. Just look at that, that's so pretty. I did end up rating this as 4 stars. The other 2 books I've read by her are Savor It and Funny Feelings, and I do recommend giving those a go if you're curious about these books. but I am keeping this book. I want to get through her other books that I'm interested in reading before deciding if I'll part with this, but I kind of hope I won't because I do really like the cover. And I did like the book. I just didn't love it, but that's okay. The next book that I read in August is Homebound by Meredith Trapp. And this is my first Meredith Trapp book, and it's probably not going to be my last because I did rate this 5 stars. I had seen this online and I hadn't bought it, and I was in the bookstore picking up another book that I had seen advertised online, and I ran across this and it was the only copy in the store. I was like, okay, I think I should just pick this up. And I'm so glad that I did. I do really, really recommend this. I have so many cowboy romances that I've read this year, and I have like another series that I'm gonna get into next year that's very cowboy heavy, and I didn't intend for that to happen. It just kind of did. So I was a little hesitant to pick this up because of that, but it didn't matter. I really, really liked it, and I hope to read more of Meredith Trapp in the future. So the next 2 that I read in August, I no longer have physically in my possession, but they were Return to Cornish Bay, which I picked up on Book Outlet. I don't think it's available any longer. There were only a couple copies in stock when I bought mine. But that is by Philippa Ashley, and it's my first ever Philippa Ashley book that I've bought and read. I really did like it. It just wasn't what I would consider something that I would want to keep for a long time. So I did part with it. It's cute. It's like a Cornish Bay island setting with the characters working at this estate called the Mount. And it was a romance between the son of the owner of the Mount and I think she was like the facility manager. It's kind of hard to describe. She was like the head of the staff, pretty much. Everything is running as it should. And it was cute. It was a little spicy at times, but like not fully. It was pretty tame for the most part, just with little sprinklings of spice. So if that's more what you like to read in a romance, and if you can find a copy, because I do think I had a British copy as the money was pounds instead of dollars, but it might be of interest to you. And then my final book for the summer, the last book of August, was A False Start by Elsie Silver. Now, this is actually more of a September book, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because I already did finish it. So I started it on the last day of August and I finished it on the 2nd of September, and I no longer have it anymore because I did sell it as a complete series, but I did give this 4 stars. I think maybe it was my favorite. It's hard to say because I didn't read them all in one go. I did take breaks in between each book, but I think maybe the characters stuck with me more than the others, even though I did really enjoy every book in that series. So again, if you're interested in Elsie Silver, that's a good series, I think, to start with, because that's what I started with and I fully enjoyed it. I waited too long to edit this video, so I'm gonna have to talk about my September reads for 2025. I read 3 planned books and then 2 bonus books for the month. My first book of the month was actually the last book of the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver, and it's titled A False Start. My planned books started with Fish Out of Water by Katie Ruggles. This book was my first book by Katie Ruggles, and I had really high hopes for it. I did really enjoy it, but it was a 4-star read for me, and I have decided that I'm not going to keep it on my bookshelf. I'm going to resell it. I loved the romance and the characters in this book. The disconnect for me was that it's an outdoorsy romance, and I felt like the setting wasn't fleshed out as much as I would have liked it to be, because I did get this book for the romance, but also for the outdoorsy aspect. So it had a potential to be a 5-star, but because of that, not fleshing out the setting enough, not talking about it enough, not being visual in the descriptions enough, is what lost a star for me. The cover is very cute though, so I'm disappointed that I don't necessarily want to keep this, but it is definitely worth a read, and if you don't mind that it doesn't discuss the setting in great detail, you'll probably really love this book. My next read for September that was planned was Fall into Temptation by Lucy Score. This is the second one of the series. I really liked this book. I did give it a 4-star, but I do love it, and I do plan on keeping it at least while I finish the rest of the series, because I am enjoying the Blue Moon series a lot, and I do recommend it to anyone who has read Lucy Score or has tried authors similar to her and liked the writing. Definitely a really good series, and I have the next 3 already, and I hope to get the next 3 as gifts during the holidays and my birthday. My first bonus book of the month of September, and my only 5-star, is Fall I Want by Lila Parrish. On top of this book just being absolutely gorgeous with the cover and also the inside flaps and the sprayed edges, I absolutely loved this book. I gave it a 5-star. I feel like the vibes were really great for fall, and I really liked the couple in the story. I thought they were both very cute, and also they fell like quite hard, quite fast, but also there was like a element to their romance that was kind of paranormal and witchy, in the sense that they had met prior as children, and it was kind of, what's the word? There was like a premonition that one of the characters in the book had, that they would get together and they would like find each other. So that was really fun. I do highly recommend this book, and I am keeping this at least for a while, because I probably will want to reread this at some point. My second and last bonus read of the month of September is For Whom the Bell Tolls by J.C. Lynn. This book is thick. So I read, the first 4 books of the month in the first half of the month, and then I had this book for the entire second half of the month. I gave it 4.5 stars. This was a really fun read. It was very emotional at times. It's about the afterlife and like the main character's existence in the afterlife after passing away of cancer. And there's a lot going on. There's like found family, there's the romance with a demon, and one of the princes of hell, really, and I don't know, it made me tear up and cry even in earnest more than a few times, but I'm not gonna keep it, even though I loved it and I gave it a 4.5 star. I'm not going to keep it because it is so thick. I don't know if I would ever reread such a big book. It was a commitment. It took me 12 days of reading over a 13-day span of time. So it's not for the faint of heart. And it takes up so much physical space on my bookshelf, which I'm running out of space. So I think that I'm gonna pass this on so that somebody else can enjoy it, but I do highly recommend this one. So I hope you liked this recap of my end of summer reads, and I hope to continue with videos of my reading list. I have a lot of books that I'm collecting for next year's reading, but I also have some really exciting fall reads. So I look forward to talking about those and then sharing them with you all. Thanks.